Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl Diamond. We back in the house, and I have amazing guest that is from Houston, Texas. Are you from Houston, Texas?
Yes, I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised, South Park.
Okay, yeah, work. South Park. I wasn't for sure if you like from them one of them country ass Texas towns. I knew you were from Texas, but you know, sometimes, oh, I'm from Lufkin. Oh, I'm
No,
from Nacogdoches.
no. I'm from Atlanta,
Yeah.
Texas, Paris. That's when they try to get fancier. No, man.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like, what?
South Park.
I'm like, girl, them places sound nice, but they still full of Trumpers.
You couldn't wait to get out of that habit. Listen, don't come here with that
Right.
foolishness.
So
Kinda
I have Verniss here as a guest.
What's going on? Hey, y'all.
Wait. What are your pronouns? Because I know you have some non-binary pronouns. Before I call you a he,
Yes.
what's your team?
I use Verniss, she, her, hers, they, them, never theirs, because it's always fine.
Yes. All right. So that's what I wanted to make sure, because I remember meeting you at the Gender Infinity Conference. Is that where we first met?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yes. And we were having a workshop, and you were so fabulous and so personable, and your spirit and energy was, I just knew that eventually you were going to be on Marsha's Plate.
Listen there. I am pleased.
And so they are here to share why I wanted them to be here, the work that they're doing. I always try to have people and showcase people who may not, you may not know them as a listener, but I know them because I see them moving and shaking in the world and really out here doing things for the people. So I want to show you something too. So last year,
Yes.
Mahogany Project gave us an award, the Ally Award in 2020 for Marsha's Play. And I was so happy because this is like the first like actual physical award that we got. We had got other stuff like in regards to, somebody honoring us, but like an actual physically sent award. I was like, oh, this is so cute. I was like, this makes me feel sickly.
Yes. See, that's what we want. We want to give people something tangible. Like we talk about giving people their flowers while they're living, right? And I can tell you that you did a good job, right? But it's nothing like giving you something to say, this is how you have sold into my life. This is how you have showed up to me, and how I choose to honor you. And so, yeah.
Oh, I so appreciate it. It made me feel so special opening the box. And I was like, oh, this is such an affirmation. And it just made me feel so good. So tell me about where you are from, where you grew up, who is your family, who is your tribe. Tell me about you.
So I am oh my God, I am a hippie at heart child. I grew up in South Park, Houston, Texas. Well, actually South Park Sunnyside. And I have to say South Park Sunnyside back because I spent a lot of time in my granny house. And my granny literally lived around the corner from Woodson Middle School. And so, I'm born and raised in Texas. I am, Lord have mercy, that's
we gotta tell the people about Sunnyside. Sunnyside is like one of the murder capitals of the United States.
Sunnyside is a lot of things, to be quite honest, child. Sunnyside is actually where the first case of HIV was found here in Houston, Texas. My aunt, because she lived in Sunnyside, she was the first person that ever became paralyzed by a white tick deer. So the ticks on the white on deers, right? If you can get bit by them and they can lead paralysis child. Long story, my aunt was like paralyzed for a long time, but eventually she was able to like walk and stuff again. But like she would still have like her long story. Never we'll be here all day talking about it. But like,
Amen. Wow.
Sunnyside is like a lot of things, but I will say it's a lot of great people and a lot of great things that have come out of Sunnyside. And country, you know, it is the murder capital of the world, but white people are moving in there. They are slowly trying to diversify it and take it over. It's getting this.
All right. When
So
they
like,
tell us that our places are ghetto and hood and don't want to live there, they move out, and then now that they're cheap and low and the property value is down, they're going to move in. You know, the classic gentrification story. Yeah, of course they're going to take it.
So it's getting like a solar energy like quarter and all of this, and they expanding the bio. But yeah, so I am a teacher at heart, which is crazy because most of the women in my family have been teachers or worked in schools in some aspect. My aunt who got bit by a dish, she was like a nurse for a while. My mom works at a school. My other two aunts work at a school. Some of my cousins work at school. So it's just like I just have always had this teaching in me, and just a person who was just embedded in community. When I stayed in South Park, I lived off of MLK in Silencia. I went to an elementary school called Robert Frost. Most of the people, the teachers who taught there, the kids and everything, they were all connected. We would literally get walked to school in the morning by some of the teachers. And so, because they lived, which how community should be, they lived within the community.
Right.
And so I had a very tight knit sense of community from a very early age. And I guess that's how I've always grew up, with this sense of community. And so I'm such a communal person. And that's why I say I'm a hippie too, because hippies, they just love to be around peace, love, just whatever we need to like, just everybody happy. That is like me. And I just, yeah, I'm a lover of food, especially seafood, child. Early country music.
Come on now.
Early country music. And I like early TV, like movies. I'm a movie junkie. I have over 300 movies. People don't know this about me. I have like actually maybe a collection of over 500 movies. I like movies early 90s, early 2000s, some 80s movies. Like I am like movie junkie, child.
Tell me about Frida McFarland.
That is my mom. My mom has always been the best representation of an ally. When I was in elementary school, my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. She was a stay-at-home mom. And my mom just didn't like the conditions that me and my sister was going back to school in. And so she started going up to the school. She started volunteering. My mom was a very, very active parent. She started volunteering. My mom started working with the local Girl Scout troop at our school. Eventually, she took over the Girl Scout troop. My mom went back to school, got a degree in special education. But before she did that, she actually started working at the elementary school that I went to, my sister went to, a host of my cousins. She started working there. And like my mom became like a community mom to like a lot of the kids at that school through Girl Scouts and through working through communities in school, and then just by becoming like a teacher's assistant at the time. She became like a community mom. And I remember when I was in high school, my mom was so upset. She was so upset because these parents had sent their child to school with like 2 mismatched shoes, and both of the shoes were like left shoes. And so the whole day, the little boy's feet was hurting. And my mom was like, she just could not take it no more. So she took her lunch period and she went and like to go buy the little boy some shoes. So she, not only so he could feel better, but she just didn't want to see him like that. And so it was just like, damn, this lady here. And then I would look back on it and think like my mom, some Saturdays we would get up and look for my mom and she would be gone somewhere volunteering. Child, she would be like at the big back to school drive at the Georgia Brown Convention Center, or she been signed up to go volunteer here or volunteer there. And being a Girl Scout leader, she always had to do something with the troop. And my mom became like top tier, if you ask me, when it came to Girl Scouts. Because if you're somebody who know how the system work with like selling cookies and stuff like that, it's trash, quite honestly. You sell all these cookies and you get like a light up wand, right? You done sold like $4,000 worth of cookies and you get like a light up wand and a certificate. My mom
Wow.
would do it where actually we had Astroworld at the time. And so the troop would get X amount of money for like the cookies you sell. So my mom would fix it where, you know, the Astro had you buy the 4-pack of season passes for like $200 or whatever. So she would buy that with the troop money as an incentive for like the girls who sold the top 4 cookies. So now you had whatever the little Girl Scout thing they was gonna give you. Now you had an opportunity to win like a season pass and like whatever else like my mama had procured as like the prizes and stuff like that. So the girls wanted to be in my mom's troop. My mom had like this big Girl Scout troop. She even had like girls who like came from like Bastion and like some of the elementary schools like are like in the like some of the neighboring communities like came to my mom's like troop because her troop was like popping.
Mm.
And so
Did y'all
like,
ever feel neglected, you and your sister?
did we you know, I would say honestly, I've been unpacking that more. And I would say not in the sense of when my mom was supporting community, not in the sense of that, right? Because I knew my mom was being there for people who didn't have. I felt more neglected, and this is gonna sound so crazy, when my mom started like stepping in for like some of my cousins and stuff like that. And it was like, girl, they mama right there, they daddy right there, girl. And it's like, we can't go here or there, or it's like, I felt like sometimes we couldn't have because my mom would step in for some of my cousins. And it was like, be like, girl, they mama right there. Now I am a little envious, girl, because I could see they people, but not when it related to like people in communities, I would say.
Gotcha. What is some of your memories of her that was more intimate with just you? Like, what is
Some of
the fondest memory?
you know what? That's so crazy. I can't think of anything just off the top of my head, but I tell my mom all the time when I say something about her, she like, "Who you think he is? You don't know me." And I be like, "Girl, I've been with you longer than you was by yourself, okay? So if anybody know you better than you, I know you better than you know yourself. I done been with you longer than you done been by yourself." And she gone on somewhere. But you know, I would say probably like the fondest memories of me now that I think about it is um Thanksgiving. I know how to cook. My mom would force me at an early age. Like, okay, you know, I have to cook all this food, so I need you to come in here and cut up all this onions and peppers and stuff
Right.
like that.
De-stem these motherfucking greens, baby.
Yes, come up here and clean up these gizzards and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Come in here and shell these crabs and whatnot. And so
Mhm.
that, and then another one that I can fondly like think of very distinctly, and it involves like also my grandmother. I was very well connected to my grandmother. Is like my mom always had the privilege of being, and I always say the privilege of being the one who would take my grandmother grocery shopping. And so it allowed me the opportunity to not only spend time with my mom, but also spend time with my granny. Because my sister didn't know what the hell she was doing. My daddy would say, Lord, I'm gonna have to pay somebody to take Brittany off my hand. But I would be the person that would like go in the grocery store and have to go with my grandmother and be like, okay, like granny, you know, like what you need, we gonna get you this, what you, and then making sure that my granny don't overspend on stuff. Because you know, old people, they just get what they know. They just get what they see. You be like, well, granny, you know, well, these paper plates, they just as good, girl, and they $1 cheaper. You like, you know, have to tell her stuff like that, or make sure like the people when she checking out don't try to mess up because my granny, she, you know, old people, they don't like to wear them glasses either, you know. So, you know, I would have to be my granny extra pair of eyes, and that for me, um, I enjoyed that time because it taught me how to be there for people in community and for family, right? My mom was the person taking care of her mom, making sure she got her essentials. And it also taught me how to be prepared to be that person for my mom as well as she gets older and stuff like that, knowing that one day I will have to care for my mom in this capacity. If privileged to be, have to care for my mom in this capacity as well.
I like to cook, and it's a caveat to that. I like to cook for people. I don't like to cook for myself. So like, I'm not a person that every day I'm just cooking for myself. Cook. I like event cooking. I love like when holidays come around. I love that. I love the idea of, there's an event happening or a gathering happening, and I am cooking for my friends and family that are coming to this particular gathering. And so the food is done. I got everybody plate. Everybody is eating, and I'm standing there like, I'm that bitch. It tastes good, don't it? That. All of that. It's fire, ain't it? What
Didn't
you
even know I
gonna
could do all that.
What you gonna need? You don't need to know. Don't worry about it. That. So I'm that type of person. I like those moments. I can't say I'm not the homely type that I tried to be that when I had a little boyfriend in my 20s, to cook every day, have a meal ready when he come home from work, and that shit got old real quick.
And it will.
But
and
events, it was my tea. What is your relationship with food, cooking, family, friends, community?
So I definitely love event cooking. I very much so, because like you said, that's your opportunity where you can show out for the girls. You can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna let you have
Let me show you what a bitch can do. A bitch can burn.
I can let you have it because it's an event. You expecting something fabulous, so I have to live up to the occasion, right? So I have to go in. I have to let you know I am, as Beyonce would say, I was here. So I have to let her. So I definitely like event candy, but I also too love intimate dinner parties. I really love intimate dinner parties.
What's the difference between those?
So I would say an event is more like Thanksgiving and you cooking. You about to, you about to cook 12 pecan pies. You about to go make dressing this big pot of gumbo with love. But I say with intimate event parties, you cooking smaller portions, smaller meals. You may even cook something a little bit more fancy. You might cook regular lamb and scallop because it's maybe 5, 6 of y'all. I would say for me, and I was about to say that the best example, and I guess this is why I love her so much, is Cartier Brown. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cartier Brown. She's a Southern Geechee chef out of Charleston. And she has a show on Food Network called Delicious Miss Brown. But she got started in Charleston by having supper parties, which is, I really want to start throwing supper parties, like true tip. So that's how she got started. But it's like, it reminds me of her food. If you like watch her show, it's like every time she cooks something on her show, it's like for a supper party. She's inviting like sometimes 2 people or 3 people or 4 people. Oh, it's very small, very intimate. Sometimes they're even coming over, helping her, prepare small portions right up to the end. Like maybe they coming to help make the caramel for the dessert or whatever. But it's very dead. It's a little bit more intimate than like an event cooking.
Gotcha. I like.
Yeah. So I like those.
Have you watched 2 things? One I'm about to say is like way on out of left field, and one is going to be relevant. The left field one is, have you watched Cooking with Paris Hilton?
No, ma'am. I started and said, I can't even. First of all, I don't even believe that Paris cooks. So why am I going to watch a show Cooking with Paris? It don't even make it make sense.
So I was thinking the same thing, but I was bored, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is giving, and it was actually entertaining. It was foolery, full out. I swear it was full out, but it was entertaining. And so I wanted to see if you like, because she cooks, she invites a person that we know, some type of celebrity, and she invites them over to help her cook a meal. And so they'll have these intimate, both of them are in there cooking and fixing something, and at the end they both sit down and eat what they cooked. And it's actually entertaining because Paris is giving you what Paris gives. She's been giving it since Simple Life back in the day. And she'll bring other people on that are funny. Like she had Sweetie, she had Kim Kardashian, she had some comedians, she had just different people on that I thought were just really, really entertaining. And then she's always beat from head to toe, cooking. Even while cooking, she's in something extra expensive.
Well, I can't believe it. So let me ask you a question. So as a person who watched it, okay, do you believe that Paris cooks now? Do you really believe Paris in the house busting out bills?
No, but that's why it's ridiculous. She's sitting there, she don't know what a whisk is, and then she'll put it on the screen, and it'll say a whisk. She'll give it a crazy ass description. That's what makes it funny.
Okay, girl. Now I'm gonna watch an episode or two.
You know how she be playing stupid, and it's just so extra and funny. So I really enjoyed it. But I know you have watched High Off the Hog.
Child, I knew some of the people in High Off the Hog.
Exactly. So so I watched the whole thing. I binged it. I couldn't stop watching it because I live so much. I usually, sometimes Netflix cooking shows it's either a hit or miss for me. Sometimes they're like super, super good. Like there's this one called Salt, Heat, and Sugar, or Salt, Heat, or Acid, or something. I can't remember. It's 3 words, either heat, acid, and salt, or salt, heat, and acid, something. That's really fucking good. They go in a deep dive about heat, deep dive about sugar, and deep dive about salt in relations to food. And it's really fucking good. So that's one. So check that out. But when I watched High Off the Hog, when I first saw it, I wasn't for sure what it was going to give. But then when I saw it was a Black host, and then I saw what they were going to go to, I was like, oh, y'all going to go through African-American cuisine in the country. And baby, I started watching it. And from the first episode on to the last, it just kept me just intrigued, teaching me things, teaching me history of certain foods. And, just the emotionality and everything about it was just so brilliant and amazing, and I absolutely love it. And the connections that they made with Africa, the connections that they made with the Caribbean, the connections that they made everywhere, all the connections with slavery and all that kind of stuff. It just was a beautiful, 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 beautiful show. And I just couldn't stop. I rarely just binge like cooking shows. And so how did you experience it as a person who enjoys cooking too?
So I would say this first. In watching it, I was already very emotional before I even put it on, because we probably gonna have to get into this. But did you watch In Our Mother Gardens?
Oh yes, it was so good.
So I had finished watching Dead and went into High on the Hog. So
you was already there.
My emotions was already high. Okay. I was in here crying like a baby, okay? But I also, so I feel so connected to that, especially like, first of all, gumbo, right? As a person who people Creole, cook a lot of Creole food, love Creole food, love seafood. It irks my soul when people be like, oh, I don't put okra in my gumbo, because it's like, girl, you're not even making gumbo at this point, you're making soup. The word gum. So I had already knew the stuff about how okra how it had transitioned from Africa, how it got here. People were putting seeds of it in their hats and hair to bring it over here so they could still be sustainable and have a piece of home. And how okra can be used for all these different hell. During the pandemic, I was growing red and green okra on my porch. Mm-hmm. So I knew how sustaining
and
it
okra,
was.
What people, I say okra, and okra. What people don't also understand, okra, it has the most protein content of any vegetable. I did not know that until like recently, probably like a month ago. It has the highest protein content of vegetable. I was like, wow, that's wild.
I eat okra so much, child, and I be so full. I eat okra all the time because I'm always Creole, always making a stew or something, and you gonna always put okra in it as a base. So I just felt so connected to that, and it was so beautiful. And then when it got to the part about the cowboys and they came here to Texas and stuff, right? actually knew a lot of those cowboys. One of the guys who was riding the bull, the really slim, dark skinned guy, his name is Gary Richards. I actually used to work with him at Cavender Boot City. When I was in high school, we was working. He was riding bulls. He was homeschooled when we was in high school. Because he was riding around the country then, riding bulls. So it just felt, so connected. Also being from, Houston, like I said, and from Texas, and seeing how, Black cowboys getting their just due for their influence, not just on American culture, but American food culture as well, that is being galvanized and utilized across the country and across the nation and the world. It's about time, right? I listen. I love a fried gizzard with some gravy, baby. Okay, and I know that was a good old Southern cowboy meal, and so
Right.
and you know how many places that is showing up now in food, and people wanting to utilize the whole animal and farm to table. Cowboys have been doing that since the
Right.
dawn of time, explicitly Black cowboys, because Black people and Latin people were taught not to waste nothing because they didn't have privileges like white people to say, oh, I only want the best cuts and I want to do, you could throw the rest of it. We didn't have the privilege of that. So we was already using the stuff that people didn't want to begin with.
Right. That's why what you're describing is the gentrification of food, because like even like oxtails are so fucking expensive now, and they used to not be expensive at all. We could make a pot of oxtails like it was nothing because it was
A big pot at
a
that.
big pot that motherfuckers didn't. That was the cut that people didn't want, and now all of a sudden everybody is, ooh, restaurants are having oxtail on the fucking menu, and people are really trying to get them their oxtail. So now they're fucking expensive as hell, a
Girl,
pound,
they be
and
so
I'm
tough
tired
at
of
the
it.
restaurant. Girl, they be so tough at the restaurants. You go to these brunches and stuff and get the oxtails and grits. You be like, girl, they didn't even cook this damn oxtail long enough. So now I can't go get them at a decent price and you in here wasting them.
You're wasting them. So there is things that we know. Okay, there's things that as Black people, when we are, because this is our culture, we just know it. But it's something about seeing it being depicted, getting the investment on productions to showcase it,
That
and
kind of
make
platform
connections that
too.
we may not have made.
Right. And definitely using that kind of platform. And then another thing for me was about how, like I said, being from Houston and how close to home it is, right? It's like, I always, like we talked about, I always feel like the South, and particularly Houston and Texas, doesn't always get their just due. Yes, we know it's some fucked up shit that goes on here, right? And I feel like we only get the limelight around the fucked up shit that goes on here, right? But we're not talking about how diverse it
Because we
is here and how
center
diverse the food is
whiteness.
here. Yeah. And you can come to this bitch and eat up some stuff on any given day because it's so much diversity here, just in not only in culture but in food. It is good food here.
Yeah. Because people don't know that, like, we got the most Vietnamese people in the whole country, and we got some fire ass Vietnamese food out here, baby.
Listen, fire.
And China and Chinese. It's so much culture. And we got outside of Africa, we have the biggest population of Nigerians too.
And the Nigerian food, it be busted, baby.
Bussin'. Facts. Facts. Right. I be like, oh, y'all really be fucking it up. And I live.
Busted.
Speaking of not getting just due, we from the South, and there's a lot of times that as far, we both are EDs of nonprofits, and it's a lot of times being small orgs, we can see organizations really, really getting limelight, particularly on the East Coast and on the West Coast, and the South just being forgotten. And I really want to talk about that notion of go deeper in the notion of Texas and the limelight that happens, because we do center whiteness and white supremacy, and not just in praising of whiteness, but when whiteness is doing its fucking shenanigans, we gotta spend our fucking time battling them. So we have to showcase this. It's almost like because they're doing some fuckery shit, they snatch the limelight, even if we want to showcase some of the amazing stuff that's happening, the positive stuff, because of the powers that be, and we're constantly battling against them. Sometimes we have to dim our light on the positive shit to showcase why fucking the Abbott motherfucker is doing crazy shit, why Abbott is you know, the neglecting us, or signing into these crazy ass laws when it comes to abortion, or when it comes to trans children, and just all the shit that we have to feel bad about and feel shame because that ain't our motherfucking
the foolishness that we got to deal with.
And so I want to talk about some of the things that are going on in our state that we are up against, and I want to hear your opinion about them. So currently, we have tons of Haitian refugees because a hurricane just happened, earthquakes happen. Before they can even recover from one thing, something else is happening. And so they are finding their way on our borders here in Texas. And our governor is trying to get the Biden to call a state of emergency so they can do something about the people, quote unquote, sneaking in and da 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 da. And I want to know what you think about that.
I think a multitude of things. One, it always have just bothered me. Just how is people sneaking into some shit that we just don't own? Like, like I just
it's not even fucking yours, motherfucker.
That has just always bothered me. I just got a headache thinking about that. Like, that has always bothered me. Like, this ain't even your shit. How is somebody sneaking into some shit that ain't yours? I don't even understand it.
Wait, this reminds me of Eva Longoria. They were, because she's Latinx. They were telling her, somebody was implying to her, why don't you go back to where you're from? Because blah, blah, blah. And she popped them and she said, actually, the land that I own in Texas, my family owned it before Texas was Texas, before it was even a part of the United States. So the land I'm on is actually mine. And my history is native.
Well, it's just what be bothering me. It's like we just gonna act like the whole land is just Texas and Louisiana and stuff. Just, all the shit just went Mexico just to begin with, and none of this shit was ours. None of it was America. And not even just saying people who own America just are just privileged to just say, "Oh, this is our land," but like right. This ain't your shit. How you gonna tell somebody they can't come here? Fact. But whatever. But listen, as soon as it got too cold here, Ted Cruz ran across the goddamn border. And that be killing me. People be like, they don't like foreigners. They don't like Hispanic people. They don't like people from Mexico. But bitch, you always in Cabo. You always try to go to some.
You always going somewhere else.
Like, I don't get it. So you want to be able to go to their place or wherever they occupy, but you don't want the people to come here. I don't get that.
I don't get it either. I do want to point out how different it is when we think about like these Afghan refugees, because they know they fucked up pulling out of Afghan. They're like, oh, we have allowed 65,000 Afghan refugees to come on over because, we know we fucked up and let the Taliban take it back over because we wanted to get the fuck up out of there. And, we know they cut motherfuckers' heads off and oppressing women. So we want to try to do something that look kind of right. So Afghan people, come on over. But you Black Haitians under this bridge who have suffered from a natural disaster trying to find a home.
Over again, who we also dropped off on this fucked up island to begin with, but okay. Because we didn't want to take you all the way back home.
Snatched, dropped them off. They had the audacity to win a revolution. To win a revolution over the French. And because they won, the French charged their motherfucking ass so much money to even recognize their independence. And because United States wanted to be on the French nuts and wanted to be friends with the French, they embargoed fucking Haiti. So not only have y'all strangled them from the economic wealth that they could have over centuries, now they're going through, because of climate change, not just because of climate change, but because of climate change too, because of climate change that y'all organizations and corporations have contributed to the global warming. Now they are getting the effects of that shit, and you can't even come in and save them. You can't even let them in. You can't even let them come and help them a little bit. Get the fuck out of here.
No, they just gonna deploy the Red Cross. That's it. That's all that they giving me, sister. They gonna just deploy the Red Cross and call it a day.
Send some rice. Send some blankets. At least he didn't come over there and toss some paper towels.
Girl,
we're out of that era.
Okay, because he's going to hate doing that child. They'll mess around and throw him back at him, so he might want to watch himself.
Right. So, what about this abortion bullshit? What is your opinion on the abortion stuff?
So, I used to work for Planned Parenthood for quite some time. So, of course, like you just stated, I think this is some bullshit. And I just think this is another just example of just white people. My population is declining. We know that my population, white people, are getting the most abortions, and I'm pretty sure they the ones playing B like Skittles and all of that too. And so, because your population is declining, do you think these are measures that should be taken to make sure that your population can stay afloat, but not thinking about how it disfranchises other people in other communities? Excuse me, and particularly Black women who have high mortality rates in the South, right? And we're in the South, and there's Black women who stay here. We're not thinking about stuff like that, or just assault victims or rape victims and things like that. Because you're telling these people I have to potentially carry my attacker's child to term, irregardless of my health or my emotionalism or whatever that is that I have. And I don't like that. And what bothers me yet again is we don't never hear motherfuckers talking about vasectomies. We don't never hear vasectomies down on the legislation floor. So we think all motherfuckers over 35 with 2 kids to get but this is never on the floor. Okay, so I'm just there's just something else that's just interesting to me. As if it's only a woman's responsibility to bear, have, and produce kids. And it's just, the shit is crazy.
And trans men.
Yeah. Well, they still talking about they women too. So
they don't consider them. I don't know. I feel like they're just winging it. There is some strategy, but when I look at in January the 6th, that little bullshit that they were trying to do. When I look at the rise of Trump, there and the acrobatics that they had to do to start flipping when they saw that he had the potential to win. Mm-hmm. And then once he did win and they had to do all this flipping and changing, it was clear that the the idea that they're over there strategically planning every little thing, that's not true. I think certain things they are just fucking winging it, and they are just throwing it up against the wall and seeing what piece of shit sticks. And I've never been more convinced of that in the last 5 years. I used to have the thing like, oh, the white people are, honey, masterminding this and masterminding that. I'm like, these motherfuckers is really just winging this bullshit.
They
Y'all
just
really
waking up every
just
morning and being like, okay, like, see what we can fuck up today.
Yeah. just winging it. And yes, there's some people who have some type of strategy, but there's certain elements that they are strategizing around that they didn't have any control over. We was like, oh, we didn't know this buffoon was gonna win. We thought it was gonna be somebody else. So but now that we do have this idiot here, let's make it work. And we didn't know that this fool was gonna get us in the position where we have the Supreme Court on our side. Oh shit, let's try to get all these stupid ass abortion laws through. Let's get all these anti-trans laws through. Let's see what happens. We didn't know that this was gonna happen. But now that we have this in our favor, now let's strategize to do something until some other monkey wrench come in. We didn't know they were gonna hire the Black woman as the VP so she could be the last vote. We didn't know that was gonna happen, but damn, that doesn't work in our favor. How can we work around this? Oh, okay, well, let's make it a bounty hunting thing. Let's make the abortion where everybody can sue a bitch who's getting an abortion.
And then, Texas just have the law now where, like, because, apps like Reddit and stuff like that was banning bounty hunters and people who was posting information related to, like, the abortion bans and where people was getting them and stuff like that. So Texas has just signed this law maybe like a week or two ago with, like, if your website can't ban stuff like that, or people who have opposing views or stuff like that. If you operate on the World Wide Web and you operate in Texas and stuff like that, you can't do that.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Child, I don't know. I just feel like they winging it. That's what I mean. I feel like they're trying it and seeing. And the more and this is why I'm disappointed a lot of times with Democrats, because the right will press the envelope. They'll see what'll work. They'll keep pushing. How far can we go with this? How far? And as they keep pushing, they nudging it over further to their way as far as they can go. But Democrats is, we gotta be soft. We gotta be bipartisan. We gotta do it in a tender way. We gotta be real careful about how we move forward. They don't just take it by the horns and try to see what we can grab in this moment that we have the power. They just don't. They don't. And
they don't never go to the table and be like, look, motherfucker, we got the swing vote. We got this. Like, this was about to fucking go down right here. This was about to. It's never that. It's always like, okay, so what can we get? We're here. We know we have, but we want to work with you. We want to show that we're. And I'm sick of that shit too. Like, I don't feel like that's never got us anywhere. And this is my minimum wage been 25 for how long? Like, this is like shit like that, and it's just like why we can't have affordable housing, why places like rent and stuff keep going up in places, California and hell here, because let's not be fooled. We still talking about, you can still get you a nice apartment, a nice this, and you can pay. You're not paying Atlanta, California, New York City prices, Chicago prices, but the shit is still going up. It is. It's getting to a rack for a 600, 700 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment. It's getting to a rack. Horrible. So let's not be fooled. And so that's because you girls not showing up to the table and saying, like, we're not taking this no more. And are you like you said, Trump pulled all the bullshit for getting the Supreme Court nominee. But you girls, when it's y'all turn to stuff, it's like, well, no, we have to show up. We have to show up and do it the right way. And Motherfuckers are tired of that. And one of my favorite movies is Vampires in Brooklyn. It's actually one of me and my cousin's favorite movies. And I love when Pops was in the movie. He was like, "Have you ever just saw a motherfucker flip flop in front of you? He just did some flip flopping shit. He just flip flop." I feel like that's Democrats. They come, they tell us all this good stuff during the election year. They get in the office and it just then the motherfucker just flip flop in front of you. It just happens. And it's like, wait, that's not what you told us. It's not what you like. Why are we still talking about the John Lewis Voter Right Act? It should be, the only thing we should be saying about this shit, it has been voted on and put into law. Like, end of discussion. We still shouldn't be talking about it. What Democrats are going to do about it? What decisions are they going to make? Oh, Democrats are waiting and they're watching Republicans take more and more assaults on Roe v. Wade. Like, girl, like, why are we doing this? It's not adding up.
It's not adding up. So in 2017, one of our friends, one of our the baby dolls of our city, Chyna Gibson, was murdered in her hometown, New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And it sparked something in you. Can you tell me what that sparked?
Actually, it's just so many emotions. And the reason why I say it sparked so many emotions for me, I just so happened to get on Facebook right after it happened. So there was a guy with an actual live video at the scene, and he was begging and pleading with the police officer to cover up her body. That is literally all he wanted. Like, can you just please cover her up? Can you please cover her up? Can you like? I have never in my life saw no shit like this. He was like in tears, like he was begging and pleading with the police officer, please, like, I know she did. I know y'all have to do what y'all have to do, but I'm just asking, can you please, 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 please cover her up? And they was just not budging. It was like they gave no fucks. And it like really, really broke my heart to just one watch that and see somebody have to beg and plead for somebody's humanity in their death. And then two, so like you said, to know that there's somebody who while this may not have been their home, this was a place that they called and occupied as a home, and being able to have so much access to them and see them often, right? And I like to be clear, people, like I did not know Chyna Doll personally. I did not. But I have so many people that I am connected to who were directly connected to her. And so it was just for me, it was like, well, damn, this is somebody that I could have really got to know. And I didn't take the opportunity. People always said how nice she was, how sweet of a person she was. And like, how could this happen to somebody just that people just always have so many nice things to say about? As if that's a fucking bulletproof vest or some shit. But nevertheless, it just really made me think that. And it just really sparked a lot of emotion. Like, what are we doing for community here? What are we doing to show people that we love them while they're still existing and not waiting to they die? And not saying that anything that the guy did pleading for her death was wrong, but like why do we have to wait to that moment to show like how much love and admiration that we have for a person, right? Because you can clearly see that he was somebody close to her. He was somebody that loved her. He was like really like messed up about this, and it just really broke my heart. And so it just ignited a spirit into me to be connected, get engaged in community, and see how I can mobilize my support and resources that I had for transgender communities here in Houston, particularly Black people. Which was crazy because a lot of people do not know this. At the time, like I didn't even have a fucking job. I literally had just moved back to Texas from Las Vegas. I was working with Planned Parenthood. I was working for a super PAC via Planned Parenthood and Immigrant Voters was winning super PAC. And I was also working on a Captain Cortez Mastos campaign. in Las Vegas. We won the Character Cortez Master campaign, but hell, Donald Trump became president. The first thing he did was start defunding Planned Parenthood. So all of us who was working for Deep Planned Parenthood, who was living in all these different states, and they was paying for all of these resources and shit like that, they sent us all home. And so I was back in Texas with like no job, trying to figure out like, okay, what the fuck I'm gonna do? What is my next steps? And like and I was back at home, and the only thing that I could think of that gave me kind of like freedom, gave me the opportunity to kind of like figure things out and kept my parents from like worrying about me was doing Uber Eats. Because my car wasn't fit enough to do Uber, but girl, I could do Uber Eats. So I literally kept myself occupied and employed, and even built my organization and our first set of events solely off of money from Uber Eats.
Mm.
So, you know, so for me, it ignited a calling. And earlier you talked about like being in the South. Saturday I did a training for gender infinity, and my topic was I am what my community needs, discussing a Black queer feminist lens with a Southern influence. Because while we talk about a Black queer feminist lens, it's this concept of preserving queer, trans, able-bodied, femme people, and thinking in a mindset that everybody's not cishet and all of these things, right? But I think a missed opportunity in that, or opportunity for people who live in the South to take that further, is to implement our unique genocide of Southern hospitality, right? Which is, being cooking for community, right? And so how I said like the supper parties that I would love to do, I would love to bring those back in more of like an advocacy realm, having supper parties where getting executive directors together and having supper parties. And we talk about like, girl, this is how we're going to take this shit over right here. But we doing it while we getting fed and we're nourishing our bodies, right? And our spirits. And so, those kind of things. And so it just really ignited just so much in me, in just community, and really shaped out how I wanted to be engaged, particularly here in Houston.
Mm. I have friends all over, and I hear them talking about the numbers that they generate with these grants. And I'm like, we down here doing work with 7,000
and doing life-changing work. What the fuck? Like, seriously, I whenever I come across people and they be like, what do you want people to know about Houston or about Texas, about the people? My thing is, I want people to know that there is so many amazing community advocates here that are not only working, but people who are budding into their own, that are doing amazing work here in Houston and in Texas. And we are just simply waiting for people and the right resources to tap into us. That is it.
That's it.
That is it.
I remember, and people don't understand why I came here and stayed. I came in 2007, and what I saw in community was fucking beautiful. I came when Big Yo's was open.
Mm-hmm.
I came when Bartini's was open. I came when what was all popping? Breakers, that was the cishet club. Breakers, Metropolis was popping at that.
Now you talk about the clubs that was on the radio and stuff like Breakups.
Yeah, so of course 2020 was popping. So those are the queer clubs. So Big Yo's, 2020's, Bartini's, that was popping. And of course, it's called Barcode now, but it was called TC's at the time. Hamburger Mary's wasn't there. What else was over here? Crocker was, JR's was.
Oh girl, you came when they used to have the Hollywood Vietnamese there on Sundays. They would turn it into the happy hour and the DJ and everything, and like
yes, it was. This was a heyday at Houston. I don't want to say anybody else had it. This is when it was like, oh my God, this is what the nightlife for Houston is like. The queer nightlife was just as popping as the cishet nightlife, and I could just oscillate from both. Like I would go from the gay club to straight club. Like you be at the gay club. I'll go to the gay club till 2:00 in the morning and then pop over on Antoine and Tidwell at Third Coast after hours, where they fucking drinking liquor in red cups and smoking weed in the motherfucking thing with all the hood niggas. You know what I'm saying? It was, and
The
I would be having,
diversity.
right. It was so fire. I was like, this is my motherfucking type of city. I can go Vogue over here and fucking Kiki with the trade, the hood, the fucking Acres Homeboys over here. And it just was a whole different vibe. And then I can go on fucking 1960 and be at night moves at the roller rink or whatever. It was just so many different things that I would D1, Clayton's. It was so many different things that I could that I would. Clayton's off of Imperials. It was in Greenspoint.
Imperial, everybody used to be over there.
Yeah, it just was fire. And I just had such a good fucking time. And I had never experienced that variety in nightlife when it came to a city. Houston gave, but the same feel that I would get like when I was in Mississippi, rural Mississippi club. Like it was like a Southern feel, but with a big city vibe. And that's why I fell in love with it. And so it was really, really quite amazing. And the people was flourishing, like the queer people. It was so big that like even though it's segregated as fuck, I gotta say that the groups are segregated as fuck. There's some overlap, but the Black queer lesbian community had their own thing that was popping. The Black gay male community had their own thing that was popping. The trans girls had their own club that was popping, where most of them all went to. Segregated, and there was some overlap, but each individual club was popping in its own little right. And I had so much fun exploring it and seeing the flourish of Black people, the flourish of so many Black people, because people don't understand that in the South we have the most Black people out of all of the United States. We are concentrated in the South. And so it is to go and have this big ass community in this red state. It just was amazing. I don't ever want to move from Houston. I love Houston. You know, I want to travel, but I want to leave it sometimes.
No, so I
want to leave it
agree.
sometimes, but I want to live here. This is where I want to live.
Yeah, listen, I gotta agree to it. Like living in Las Vegas, living in Denver, loved it, right? But it's just like something about Texas. It'd be like I can't shake it. It's like even when I travel out of town, it's like so when I go places just for vacation, I'm gonna travel somewhere. I'm gonna stay about 5 days. So I feel like 3 days not long enough. You stay 3 days, you start to just get good in the flow. And it's like, oh, I gotta pack up and go home. 5 days to be dead, but I'm not gonna lie. By day 3, I'm like, damn, I miss Texas, girl. I just want to get back home. It ain't nothing like you hear that little flyer saying, "Oh, we are now descended in Texas." Be like, girl, like yes. Now I feel like I'm being reborn again once the plane landed.
Right.
So it's just something about being here, the climate, the atmosphere, and like you said, despite being in a red state, it's so much that's happening. It's so much that's going on. And then we know that, Houston is a very diverse city to begin with. And so maybe that's another thing, Houston is like David Ruffin in the Temptations. We are Houston, and everything else is Texas.
We don't even be fucking with Dallas like that.
And pro San Antonio. Okay. But let's stay hard.
San Antonio is Mexico.
Very bad. But it's just like that's how it is. Like it's like we are David Ruffin. It's like we be like, you go to Texas. Oh, I was at an event and they had called me up and they was like, Verniss McFarland from Dallas, Texas. I said from Dallas, Texas. Now, I would have preferred you to mess my name up than to tell the people that I was from Dallas, Texas, okay? Like, I would have strongly preferred you mess my name up than to tell the people that I was from Dallas.
So tell me about intimacy and love and relationships. Where are you finding joy and intimacy? And are you hopeful? Are you, are you in love? Are you dating? What does that look like for you?
Girl, I'm about to give me a cat to go with my dog and a goldfish, and we just gonna live happily ever after, okay? That's just gonna that's just gonna be what it is, okay? Because the men folk are just not they are just not they are just not. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if so I have been doing some soul searching recently, and I know that I used to be a very, very angry person. I used to be a very angry person. I'm not gonna lie.
Which is so surprising.
Yes, I used to be very angry. It really is very surprising, right? But I don't know because of that. Have I just spooked the men folk away? Or if I am intimidating to them, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I don't really have a dating life. There's not people that come up to me and that say, that they want to date me or they are interested. And I guess in people that I tell that I'm interested in, I mean, it'll go somewhere for a little while and then it just dies off. And so I don't know if it's like that intimidation factor. And I don't want to say that I am too busy, because despite being a executive director and having a job and doing all of these things, I'm a person that believes in making time for people, right? I believe it's something that you truly want to do or invest in. Like, you can find the time to do it. So I'm all about that, right? I mean, so I don't know, child, but I'm listen. I'm about to get Zuri a cat. I'm about to get the cat a goldfish, and we just about to live happily ever after. Okay?
Who I am today, I didn't know I could be. I know in my past, in my teens, in my 20s, I just cared about having a man, cared about love more than I do now. Now I'm like, I'm chasing bags. I am I just don't have the desire, the patience, the it reminds me, if I can give a little context, it reminds me of when I was an escort and I stopped, and then when I tried to go back in, maybe like I was on a trip and was like, oh, let me put up an ad and see what it gives. Back when I was a full-time escort, dudes calling my phone and negotiating prices and was setting up the clients and da 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 da. It was nothing. It was a part of the job. I didn't even think about it. But when I had stopped and I had tried to go and put an ad up and see what it gives, and see, oh, I'm in a new city, I ain't got nothing to do, let me see if I can make some money real quick. I was so annoyed on that phone with them clients. I was so annoyed. I was like, what? You got what? You want to do what? Where previously I would be just like, oh, this comes with the territory. But because I had been out of the business for so long, I was like, oh no, I can't deal with this. I don't have the patience for it. Like, I literally cut my phone off. And so now I think that's what's happening with my regular dating life. Because I remember when I was younger, I could stay on the phone with guys for hours talking about whatever music, relationships, talking on the phone, sitting in the bed. When you gonna hang up, you hang up first, I hang up first. Whatever cute little thing that I used to do. I cannot stay on the phone with a man longer than 5 minutes. I just can't. I cannot stay on. I have to be like, I don't know. I just don't have the patience anymore. I don't know if I'm getting too woke for my britches. I don't know if I'm just getting older, and girl, come over, let's talk in person, or I don't know what it is. But even in person, I'm like, you gonna pull that dick or
Why
and
are we
then
here?
when we done, all right, baby, where you about to go? Let me send you home. Just sitting and chilling. I just don't have the patience anymore, and I don't know what brought that on, but I just don't have it. I can't say that I'm ready to get my cat and live happily ever after, but I just know the tools that I thought get me build relationship with people, like talking and sitting on the phone, chit chatting, going on dates. I don't have the patience for that no more. I just don't. I wish I just had somebody that magically was just my type and fit in my life, and we're deciding to be together.
I wish for that too. So recently you post something that I had to actually share with this guy friend of mine. You post this video of this guy talking to this girl. He was like, we don't date. We just, I think he told her we was like real, just good friends and something like, we want to have sex. Yes, I want you to suck my dick. I want you to do this and I want you to do that. But no, you can't have sex with nobody. No, I don't want you to date nobody. And there is some guy that actually, I would say it's that extreme where it's like, oh, because we don't have sex at all and we've never had sex. But he does give me like this very 1950s, like, his like thing is always, we're really good friends. And I'll be like, what the fuck is really good friends? Like, I feel like in my obituary, they were really good friends. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, no,
What does that
no.
mean? What does that mean?
Like, when you find some historic texts and they be like, Jacob and Jonathan were really good friends. They were lovers, girl. They were lovers.
Like David and Jonathan in the motherfucking Bible.
They were lovers, girl. They were lovers. And so I had to send this to him like this is how you are. Like, this is what you've been giving me. Like, I don't want you to do this and I want you to do that. But we're just really good friends. Like, girl, no, but I don't know. Right now, I honestly think maybe I'm too intimidating. Maybe I done scared off the man. Maybe I'm gonna have to. If the Illuminati is watching this, you call me, because that seems like that's gonna be the only way I'm gonna get a man, girl. I'm gonna have to sacrifice. I'm gonna have to sacrifice somebody.
I remember recently I had this guy. He I just have I feel like the guys are navigating in a different way recently than in the past. In the past, it felt like all of them was on the same page. Oh, I gotta convince her that I want to be in a relationship to get the draws, to get the panties. So they do whatever they need to do, and their strategy may be different. Some of them are, talk to you on the phone. Some of them take you out on dates, buy you some trick off. The goal is to, pretend in some kind of way that I'm trying to be where she's at to get the panties. But recently, I just have had dudes come from various goals, various mindsets, various ways. I've had this dude come at me through his girl on some polyamorous stuff, which was weird because you ain't never heard me say I'm into the poly shit. That ain't my ministry. I can see if like I was like, oh, I'm open to polyamory and I ain't never said that. That ain't my ministry at all. I don't like sharing nothing. I don't. And so that and then if I even tried that idea, even if I tried that, it would be with somebody that I'm already with. I'm already established with. We already got a strong ass bond and we doing something different. We're exploring something else. I'm not going to come in on a situation that's already been established. I'm not going to, that's not how I do. So, or I have dudes who are coming at me. So I have this dude, now we done hooked up before. We had not a relationship, but situationship where we dated and we had sex and da 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 da. But the rule with him was, I don't mind doing all this stuff with you, but there has to be an element of quality time within our arrangement. That was my only caveat. Like, if you're trying to sex and have fun, because I like to sex and have fun, there has to be added quality time, you know. And so it got to the point where he was trying to skip on the quality time. And so he didn't understand why I kept telling him no on the sex part, because you ain't built that kind of, you know. I'm not demisexual at all. I can bang whenever I want to bang, but for some situations, it's like you got to build up that kind of turn on situation. And
baby, heat this house up.
Yeah. And so he recently contacted me and was trying to see me talk about he missed me. And I was like, boy, this ain't you don't understand that when I give you the option, when I tell you what I need from you and you don't do it, I'm not interested no more. And you don't understand that there are niggas out here that are doing what I asked you to do. So why would I waste my time hooking up with you when I have somebody who is doing all the things that I need them to do? And he's like, but I do this, and he thinks that giving me head is something special, as if you're the only person I do that with. Who cares? That's what they all say. That's what they all give me that. And I don't care. I was like, you say that to me as if I put value in me. You the only person. I don't put value in being the only person. I don't care about being number 23, number 52, or number 4, or number 1. I don't care. What I care about is when you do me, is it good? That's what I care about. And so you think I put value in that, and I don't. And so you don't understand, because I don't put value in that I have somebody over here that's doing everything that I want them to do. And you are not doing that. And so I'm never going to choose you. And I had to be very direct with him like that. And he was offended. He was offended by I thought we were deeper. He kept saying, I thought we were deeper than that. And I was like,
shit,
deeper?
Me too. That's why you were supposed to show up.
Deeper? Define deeper. What does that look like? What does deep look like? Just us hooking up? Because that's not deep. What I was trying to do with you was trying to be deep. The quality time and that's when it gets deeper. But us just trying to fuck around and you give me head. Oh, I'm over by you. Can I come through? And you want to give me head? That we had those moments. That's not deep.
Yeah, that's convenient.
That doesn't make it. And so it made me think about what you said as far as them saying, you know, we're just really, I thought we were closer than that. We really, really good friends. I consider you one of my closest friends. Do you? Do you? Really?
Let me know.
Your bar is really low.
It get very Nene Lee vibe.
I don't even know your birthday.
Yeah, in some cases, even your last name, honestly, or even your real name.
Sometimes.
Honestly, like seriously, it get very Nene Leakes vibes. Ooh, I didn't know how many real friends I actually had.
Because under your standards, I got a lot.
Right.
What is coming up next for Mahogany Project?
We have a lot of things coming up. One in particular is Black Trans Empowerment Week is coming up. Black Trans Empowerment Week is going to be November 15th through the 21st. And we have some amazing things planned. We're going to be working with Chevelle Brooks in a Boom Boom Room to do a trans unity ball. We're going to do our first Soul Giving, which would be like our version of a Black queer trans Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving celebration. And then we're gonna do something different this year with the Tea Party. We're gonna try out a brunch type event for the Tea Party. So we have that, and we'll have some other events we're gonna be doing that week as well. But one of the most amazing things is we're gonna be opening up our center very, very soon.
Oh my God, that is so fire!
Yes, I'm actually really, really excited about this. like you said, we know living in the South, being a trans-led organization, being a Black trans-led organization, just being Black, that usually just equate to less funding, less resources. And so you have to do more work to be able to stand in these places and have these privileges of creating these type of avenues and outlets. And so I'm just thankful that I'm able to now have the resources to do this. And so and be another place for community to actually show up. So if I'm not mistaken, this will actually be the first center that is open that will be Black trans-led founded.
Yeah. And probably like the second, because the only one I ever hear about is fucking Montrose in there.
And they're not even a trans center. They're LGBT center, which usually was originally founded for the for white gay men. So
yeah. So that is so beautiful. What do you plan on once you guys open up next week? Well, really tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow. What is services? What kind of programs are y'all going to be having there? What can the people come and support?
Right. So we already have Uprising, which is our self-defense program that we provide self-defense items. Instead of mailing those out, if you're somebody who's local, you will be able to drop by the office and pick those items up. We also have bus passes available, condoms and lube. I know a lot of the other agencies have been having a shortage on lube and stuff like that. We ain't got no shortage on lube. I buy lube for the I buy lube for the people. So we got condoms and lube. What else? We'll have little snacks if you're a person who want to come have snacks and stuff like that. We'll have that available. Just hang out. We'll also have hygiene products available. In the future, we're also looking to bring in things like a few gaming systems and things like that. So, youth and stuff who want to stop by during the day and play video games or in the afternoons or whatever, they'll have that available to them or watch movies and stuff like that. So there are definitely big resources available. You can come hang out. You can come kick it. You can come volunteer. If you're interested in like helping us get the space set up, because while I'm sure we're gonna be open tomorrow, it's still gonna be plenty of things that we need to still get done. And tomorrow it won't be the official grand opening, right? But it'll just be we'll be open. We'll be delivering providing services. We'll be in that space. We'll have an official grand opening at a later date, but we're going to be working and occupying out that space, getting it set up. But like I said, more than personally giving community the resources that they need.
So a year from now, when it's y'all first year anniversary, what kind of impact do you want to have on the city? What can we expect in your plan, your growth?
So a year from now, what you guys can expect and what I would like to see happen is we have more staff on board, because a lot of people don't know this, but nobody at the Mahogany Project gets paid right now. We all do this work for free, including myself. So a paid staff to be able to serve people more effectively and efficiently. We'll definitely like to start having more direct service programs. And even the opportunity to help in-house with name change and gender marker changes as well. I think that's something else that we would like to do, as well as increase our capacity providing in-house trainings for people who are looking to be more knowledgeable about trans identities, living in the South and in some of the disparities that we face as gender expansive people, using a Black queer feminist lens. Those things. And also supper parties. I definitely want to make community supper parties a thing going forward as an opportunity to strengthen and grow the community bonds and the work that we are doing here, community and collective. And plus, I want the people to taste my chicken Creole back, because we had talked about cook it up really. And I like to cook, whatever I cook for somebody the first time, I like to cook them like chicken Creole. That's like the dish.
I'm down. Let me know. I'm gonna come through. I love me an old Viddle, honey. I come through and get my life. When I see you in community, I'm always proud of you. I am always inspired by you. I love how y'all, you and the people that you are in community with share what y'all are doing, the passion, the love for community. It makes me feel like we are kindred spirits, and it makes me feel like I'm definitely not out here in this Houston space alone. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for your time.
And I thank you so much for saying it. And I want you to know, I don't even have to see you. It's just if I hear your laugh somewhere, it warms my heart. And I think I have said this on social media and over again. Your laugh is a comfort of home. It is a reminder of a gentle touch, a moment to pause, and just to be carefree at any opportunity. Like I live for simply the laugh of Diamond Stylz, right? And I just want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
you.
I will put Verniss's contact information in the bottom. Let them know where they can find you.
So you can find me particularly, you can find me on Instagram at VFierce, that's VFEERCE. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm building my Twitter base. You can find me at VLM3 because I am Verniss McFarland the third. So you can find me at VLM3 on there. But then you can also find me on all things Mahogany Project. You can find me at the Mahogany Project INC on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me TMPHTX on Twitter. I'm always in them groups shaking and baking with the Mahogany Project. So you can find me there too.
Yes, and we will be doing a feature on them on our Instagram page. So I have all the information there and on the bottom. So make sure you check it out. And thank y'all all for listening to Marsha's Play. And I will see y'all next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
You can listen to the rest of the show on all podcast platforms. Just search Marsha's Play. See you there.